Alright, folks, this is it. While I was playing and farming yesterday, Best Raider Adam Fletcher posted on X that there will be a new patch coming. Unfortunately, I missed it. I was sleeping while it came out. So let's review what the changes are about. So we'll know. So we'll better know what to do while playing during the next stream. Alright, let's check it. Diablo 14 has been diligently monitoring your feedback. As we introduce patches to keep your experience in Sanctuary smooth, we will update the below list and denote whether the fixes are intended for PC, Xbox, PlayStation, or all platforms. Right. There, I just want to comment on this because there are many advantages on different platforms. Especially PC, I've noticed things could be done quite faster there, and we're still lacking significant features on the console versions. I have the game on Xbox and on PlayStation 5, and mostly playing on PlayStation 5. And let's see, hopefully it's something good. It's for all platforms. Okay, this one. Game updates. Echo of Malphas. This boss was kind of a joke. I remember I defeated it with terrible gear and, please note, with Blood Surge, which is usually not a really good single target skill. And when you go to this boss, there's occasionally those traps spawning, and while fighting the boss, the good thing I guess about Blood Surge is we can also target these traps. There's some kind of structure which launches traps. Anyway, let's see. We have noticed players tended to use their Pearls of Warding for fighting Echo of Malphas instead of Zoltan's Warding. Well, duh, right? We are adding Igneous Cores, a new item used solely to summon Malphas instead of Pearls, so players don't have to choose between extra protection in the vaults or fighting the boss. Additionally, we've made the fight against Malphas more difficult, which is good because, like I said, the boss was a complete joke. I didn't publish any videos on it. I prefer to mostly keep farming after I reach level 100 on day 2, and I've been farming mostly the new things and those new areas with the constructs on them. Those are also really good for leveling. I think the density is insanely good, especially for a skill with like Blood Surge that I'm using. I just push square and the screen dies. Awesome. And especially when combined with Blood Wave or Bone Storm, it's no comment, you know. Anyway, so but also increase the rewards it provides. I noticed it didn't really drop anything, just useless loot. And in general, this season's been terrible for me, RNG wise and progression blocking wise. They also didn't fix any of the animation locks of our favorite class, the Necromancer. Excuse me. Oh, so we'll see. Echo of Malphas has had their level raised from 85 to 100. Okay. That's good, I guess. Hopefully it's something harder. I am yet to level a Bone Spear Necromancer, I guess, because I really like Bone Spear, and I hope it doesn't die from like just a few Bone Spears, especially, or maybe just one Bone Spirit, we'll see. Especially having in mind the new affixes, the new legendary powers we have for Bone Spirit, it's probably going to be insane. I didn't really test it. It was actually one of the first things I used to play when the game was out. I was playing Bone and Blood, and especially with Bone Spirit. I really like Bone Spirit, especially from the previous Diablo games. Let's see, the health of Echo of Malphas has been increased by 30%. Well, if it's maybe below 50, if it's not above 50 million, it will probably still be a one-shot. Like, let's say Echo of Lilith, as an example, with Bone Spirit, with a very heavily optimized Bone Spirit. Okay, new item, igneous cores, like they said above. Now events for the now exists for the purpose of accessing the Uber Vault and Echo of Malphas. The item will replace the usage of Pearls of Warding, so that's cool. But let's see how we will get this new item. It doesn't say yet. Igneous cores have chance to drop from Vault Heralds and are guaranteed to drop from the Son of Malphas in World Tier 4. Okay, so I guess just do Tremors or Nightmare Vaults, and those will be easy to get, depending on what the Tree of Whispers drops. So I've noticed that the reward of the Tree of Whispers, when it's Chaos reward, what was it? It drops a regular. I'm sorry, I just woke up, so it just drops regular sigils, not vault sigils. So depending on what drops, we can do either of those. The drop rate of unique stones from Malphas increased from 0.25%. Imagine this. Oh wow. So it's increased to 0.5%. Okay, so now you have to do it 200 times in order to get the unique stones. Amazing. Wow. What a joke. Yeah, unique stones now have a 3% chance of dropping from the chests after the boss. I guess that's it when you use the Pearl of Warding. Okay, so probably what I'm gonna do is save pearls from vaults, from completing vaults, Nightmare Vaults, and when I get the better gear where I can kill this guy in a couple of seconds, then I will start using them. Not maybe today, I don't know, we'll see. Defeating Echo of Malphas will now reward more legendary items. Additionally, the level 925 items will drop more often. I think because it's an echo, if you don't know what an echo is, this is when some entity is trapped in a death loop, okay? They experience their death over and over again. This is what the death echo is in reality, right? This is where it comes from, and it totally makes sense when we have to kill the boss over and over, right? So like I said before, they really know what they're talking about. It's comparatively better now. But anyway, too much off topic. On the topic, this is this should happen more often. Like, it's a level 100 boss, it's an echo, so it's like an Uber version of the original boss, and I believe they should make it drop 925 more. Why? Because, as we already know, the itemization suffers a lot in this game, and it needs a lot of love. And the problem is when we get 925 item power items, they're usually like less than 0.5% of the time any worth it. For example, maybe 1 in 10,000 rings or so would be something that you need, and then the problem would be affix wise, at least it should have like at least 3 affixes that your build actually needs, and then the problem would be the rows of the affixes themselves. Turns out it's not like what they used to say, the higher the item power, the better the affix value. Not necessarily true. I mean, it can still roll quite moderate, right? And let's say you can get 400 something life instead of 1,000 something life, which is, you know, for a top item power item, I don't know, not good enough. The Seneschal. Okay, developer note. We've received feedback that the Seneschal does not feel powerful. Well, like I said, it's the season of the useless construct, at least for me. What I noticed is when I first started playing this season, there was a progression blocker, and I completely ignored the seasonal progression. I've tried like many things and just move on to regular leveling. But then I got back to it and it didn't really feel any powerful. Maybe the only thing which was useful from the Seneschal construct, I figured, was this tuning stone, which provide the bonus that the construct can taunt enemies and also take damage. It can sometimes tank really well for you, especially if you're playing some kind of ranged build. That's why I also want to try Bone Spear, because I assume it's going to be not so bad with having the construct tank for the Necromancer. Okay, let's see now. The Seneschal becomes more powerful as it reaches max level, which means a lot of farming. But we have noticed that many players have not had the chance to level up their Seneschal enough to experience this. We are introducing multiple changes to ensure players have more sources to earn governing and tuning stones. Well, the problem is not earning those stones, it's powering them up. It's really terrible after season 2 when you immediately get insane power with those vampiric powers and then moving on to this bullshit. I'm not gonna spare it. It's complete bullshit. So maybe it looks like the odd team, like they have 2 teams to create seasons. The odd team, not good so far. Anyway, have not chance to earn governing and tuning stones from, so they can level up their Seneschal and unlock their new companion's full potential. Let's talk about this a bit more. Let's say you can use the Seneschal construct to get some effects which also happen to coincide with some items. Let's say the barrier one, before you get temerity, for example, to constantly pump up barrier while healing. It was easier to get this lovely pair of pants, which is really good for speed farming, especially if you don't want to lose the aspect of slaughter movement speed, because barrier absorbs damage and it's not counted as damage taken, and you don't lose the mobility from the aspect of slaughter, especially well combined with Soulbrand. I've talked about this many times. And it was easier to get temerity compared to this barrier governing stone. So maybe they should do something about this to actually not only have more ways to get those stones, but also the powering them up. But about the getting them, looks like they already listened, and unfortunately it was not how the season started. So let's move on. Crafting, governing, and tuning stones will now always cost 200. Okay, that's less. That's awesome. It used to be 350 or something. Finding and also iron chunks. Yeah, of course. Regardless of level, which is good. Finding a max level governing or tuning stone will now grant shattered stone. That's cool. Governing and tuning stones can now be acquired as rewards for completing whispers. Awesome. We're gonna need this because we're gonna do lots of whispers, and especially whispers, in order to get the Vartian materials, in order to get the Mucus eggs, in order to go to Duriel, right? The Echo of Duriel. Son of Malphas now always drops governing and tuning stones, 2 or 3, which is also good. Stones awarded from Seneschal stone caches have been increased from 1 to 2. Okay, that's good. So now it's easier, definitely easier to get power. Like the thing I said that it's needed. Because it feels like, again, it feels like it's too much effort for not too much power, this seasonal quest and mechanic, right? The experience requirements for governing and tuning stones have been reduced so they can be ranked up more naturally with your leveling experience. Awesome. So turns out Blizzard is converting from a mischievous child to a good child, which is actually not taking such bold moves anymore. It's listening to you and me. That's great. Votes and arcane tremors. Let's see what they changed here. We have made multiple quality of life changes to the player experience in the votes and arcane tremors. Consuming a period of warding at a statue of Zoltan Ku now grants 10 stacks of Zoltan warding instead of 3. That's great. Especially having in mind that when you're hit by a trap, barrier or not, the warding is still being removed. What I noticed here is that using a shield and having as high dodge chance as possible, so that's third eye elixir and also dodge chance on the boots or maybe also on the pants, could actually help you perform better if you're, especially if you're not a rogue. Like, we're mostly talking necromancer of this channel, just know this. And it can actually help for vaults. Now dodge chance is actually even more useful during this season, and I believe it's a very overlooked affix. It's obviously much more important now. So as a necromancer you can also not only absorb and block incoming attacks and damage, but dodging them is also really important. Okay, the max stacks of Zoltan's warding have been increased from 300 to 999. So that's a lot of pearl, guys. But okay, lots of pearls. It's a good thing, I guess, especially for higher tier nightmare vaults, when the enemies are not dying so fast. That's a good change. The grace period for losing stacks of Votan's warding when being hit by multiple traps at once have been increased from 1 second to 1.5 seconds. Example, if 3 darts hit you in the span of 1.5 seconds, you will only lose 1 stack instead of 3. That's cool. Heralds of Malphas now guaranteed a legendary item drop starting at level 26 with a 15% chance to drop a second legendary item. Really cool. Knockback has been removed from all obelisk's hazards. Well, looks like they don't want you to use this warding stone of the... I forgot its name, but it's doing something. It's blocking projectiles, right? So that's pretty much renders it useless now. And let's see. Chests will now appear after completing a vault's ending encounter. These new chests will drop a guaranteed legendary item starting from level 26 plus, with a 35% chance to drop another legendary item. Awesome. Projectile speed from elemental dart hazards have been reduced by 20%. I don't know why, but okay, it's, I guess, a good change. I didn't find them any dangerous or something, but what I noticed is they were well aligned with the floor traps, for example. And I guess we'll just have to get used to the slower speed now. The hitbox for the floor-based elemental gate and spike hazards have been reduced by roughly 15%. Okay. The spout hitbox for elemental pillars has been reduced by roughly 15%. Okay. So they're nerfing traps in general. Bug fixes. Okay, let's see here. Fixed an issue where the gate hole would not display on the map for players on PlayStation. Awesome, that's for me. Fixed an issue where the brazier could not be interacted with in certain circumstances during the Drums of the Vault quest. Yeah, this is one of the progression blockers I was talking about. Fixed an issue where the Beckoning Thunder Horse cosmetic was invisible for Druid players. Okay, this probably looks cool. If you play Druid, let me know. Fixed an issue where the damage effect and the visual effect were not in sync with floor traps and vaults. Yeah. And they expect us to keep this Zoltan Cool's wording, right? Various stability and performance improvements. Well, what I noticed is sometimes my barrier animation doesn't show up, so looking forward to find this in the various stability and performance improvements and stuff. Okay, I guess that's pretty much sums it up. It's overall good patch, but they still have a very long way to actually make the game good. And believe me, I really want the game to be good. I really like Diablo, and I hope maybe in like 2 or 3 expansions, like 10 to 15 seasons, or maybe in 10 years or something, we actually get a good game to play for the money we paid for. Nothing else to add right now. I think I'll just go make some coffee and probably start playing, do real rotations, or start a new hardcore character, because there's not much to do with my current one already, especially after day 2 and 3, and maybe it's a better idea now for the weekend to level up a new character. I guess if you enjoyed this, make sure to give me a like and a sub, especially if you're not a follower on my channel, and I'll see you guys on my next live stream or video. Take care. Thanks for watching.